Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this tutorial, I am going to show you how we can implement a bookmarking system or a wishlist system or a favorite system, whatever you want to say, you can say it. We can implement that system, that feature in this tutorial. As you can see, we have a list of items present over here on the home screen and we have the bookmark screen. And here also we can see we have some items listed and these are the items which have been bookmarked. So here if we go to any item, then we can see this heart icon and we can click on that heart icon and it is showing in the alert that the item have been saved, right? And now if I go back, then again if I go here, then we can see that it is showing that it is bookmarked by this red color filled heart icon. And now if I click on it, then it is showing the item is unsaved. So that is the functionality. If it is being saved, then it will be unsaved, and if it is not saved, then it will be saved by clicking on the same icon. And we can go to this section. Here we can see that this is the item I have added right now, right? And let me go to any other item which have been bookmarked previously. Let me remove it from here, and now if I come back to bookmark screen, then it is automatically updated. So this is the feature which I am going to build today in this tutorial. So if you are interested in these kinds of tutorial, then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell icon so that you get notified whenever I post a new tutorial on this channel. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. Okay, so here I have created an expo project with create expo app command. Now I'm going to just clean few things, so I don't need this HTML not found and this component constants and hooks and scripts. So I'm going to get rid of all of these things, and now after that let's clean few things over here. And with that, we don't need this color scheme and this theme related imports. Okay, save this file, and with that let's go to this index first. So here I'm going to get rid of all of these things, and let's create home screen and let's copy it and let's rename this explore as bookmark, and here it will be bookmark screen. Now after that, let's go to this tab, and here I'm going to delete all of these things and let's provide these tabs only. So here we can see we have these two tabs. Now I need to provide icons for these, and for that let's provide tab screens, and here for the name of it I will provide index, and for the tab bar icon I will provide icons icon, and the icon name would be home outline, and for the size of it I will provide 24, and for the color of it I will get the color prop here, so I can pass that here. Now let's provide the title, so it has been changed. Now we need to do the same thing for the bookmark, and it will be heart outline. Okay, and the name of it will be bookmark. So the basic setup is done. Now after that I need to create a folder called data, and within the data I will create a JSON file called item.json, and here I am going to paste some data. So this is the data which I am going to use. Now save it, and I am going to display those items over here. And to use those, first let me import that. So let me call it item list, and let's import it from data item JSON. And here within the flat list I will use that item list as the data. For the key extractor I will provide the unique ID, so I will provide this item string and then the index, so it will provide unique key for each of the items. And after that I need to provide render items. For the render item I will get item and index, so let's provide the item name here, so it is working fine. Now here first I want to provide some style. For this I will provide container. So let's provide that container here, and along with the container I will provide some more styles which will be helpful for the designing of the items. I'm not going to waste time to create those styles. I'm just going to copy paste those here. Okay, so here for the container I have provided this, and then I have these item styles which I am going to use. You can pause the video and take note of these items. Now after that, instead of displaying the text, I am going to display another component, and that I am going to create here. So I will name it as item. So first it will be a view, and within the view I need to provide the image, and for the image source I need to provide the item detail. So I need to accept the item prop. So here I am accepting that. I need to provide the type of the item, but I haven't created that, so let me create that type. And for that, here I am creating the item directory, and then I will name it as item type, and that I can create by copying an item here. And then let's go to here and let's open the command palette, and here I'm going to use this JSON to TS, convert from clipboard. I have copied a JSON data in my clipboard, and from that JSON I'm going to convert to the TS. So by using this I'm getting this type definition. So let me name it item type, and I need to export it. And this is an extension, so let me show you. It is called JSON to TS. So this one I'm using. So now after exporting it I can use it here. So let's use that. So it is the item type, and I need to import that. Now I can use that here. And now let's provide the style for it. And it is showing an error because I need to provide the URI. Now after that I need to create a view, and this view will hold the item category. Then I need to display the item name, and then I will display item location. After that, here I need to render the item, and here I need to pass the item prop, and in the item prop I can pass the item which I am getting as a prop in the render item. Here we can see, here we have the details. Let's provide the styles for these items. So it will be item container first, then it is item image, then for this view it will be item info, then for this one it will be item category, then item title, and here it will be item source name. Now after that, here we can see this is how our items are showing. So now after that I want to click on any item and it will open the details of that item. So for that I will create a directory called listing, and within that listing I will create id.tsx file, and it will be item details. And here first I'm going to get the ID, and as I have provided this ID within the bracket, so I can get that as a parameter from export outer, and I can get that from use local search params hook, and I will get the ID, and the ID type would be string. Let me check that. So here I'm just displaying the ID. Now save it. After that I need to update the render item here. So here first I want to provide it within a parenthesis, and within it let's provide a link, and the link from export outer. Then let's provide href, and it will be listing, and the listing is not showing here. Let me provide that here. I need to use the template literal here because I want to provide a variable, and that variable would be the item ID. So by this I am creating the dynamic route, and within it I need to provide the touchable opacity, because the touchable opacity is the button, and for this touchable opacity I want to provide this link. So that's why I need to provide this as child prop. Now let's save it. Now let's see if it is working. No, it is not working, so I need to stop the server and let's start it again. Okay, it is not working because I need to provide it within the app directory. Okay, Yeah, I think it is done and the error is also gone. Now let's click here. So here we can see item details 1, item details 2, item details 4 and so on. Right, so it is working perfectly well. So now let's go here and let's update the UI of the screen. So here let me first provide a React fragment, because here I'm going to provide stack from export outer and I'm going to customize this header, and for that let's provide options and it will be header left. I need to provide touchable opacity here, and let's provide an icon which will be icons, and for the icon name I will use arrow back, and for the size of it I will use 22. Okay, so now it is there but it is not working, so let me make it functional, and that I can do by the router, and this router is from export outer, so router dot back. So now we can go back. Right, so it is working. Now after that let's provide header right. It will be similar to this, so let me just copy it and it will be header right, and instead of the arrow back icon it will be heart outline. Now for the title I will provide nothing. Now after that within this view I need to provide the item details, but I'm going to change the view to scroll view, and this scroll view is from React Native. After that here I need to provide the item details, but we haven't got the item yet. We are getting the ID but I haven't got the item details from the ID yet, so let me create that function. So here I'm creating a result constant, and in this result constant we will find the item based on the ID which we have got here, and we are going to find that from the item list. Let me copy the import from here and paste it here. So it will be item list dot find. We are going to find the item from the item list, and we can compare the item, and we need to compare it by the ID. So whatever ID we are getting, so this ID is this ID which we are getting from this hook, and we are comparing it with the item provided by this find function. This item ID needs to be matched with this ID which is being passed, then we can get the result, and by getting the result we can set the item, and to do that I need to create some state. So first let me create the item state, and it will be type of item type. So here I can set the item with this result, and along with this item I will create another one which is called is loading, and the type of it would be boolean, and by default it will be true. So here before setting the item, when we have got the result, that time I can set it to false, and based on that here I can provide the item detail. So let me first provide the item name here. Okay, we are not getting anything, and that is because I haven't called the get item, so I need to call that. So within use effect I have called it, so now I can see the item title. Right, so we are getting the item properly and setting the item, and I'm showing it over here. Now I'm just going to paste some styles. So here I have pasted it. You can take note of these things. Okay, I have already created this similar kind of thing in one of my previous tutorials, so that's what I am reusing here. It is not the main focus of the UI. Here we are going to focus in the bookmark feature, which I am going to implement just in a moment. So that's why I'm just copy pasted it, and now let's provide the style for this scroll view. So it is container. For the content container style, it is content container. Then here let's provide this style, it is title. Then we have a view. Then let's provide the item location, after that item category within the view. Then we have the image. For the image source URI, it will be item image. and for the style of it I will provide this news image style, and after that it will be another text. So let me copy it and it will be the description. So now let's provide styles quickly here. For both of the text we will have the same style, and for this it will be this. So we are done with the UI. Now we need to focus into this feature, and right now it is going back because I have used this. So now it is a blank function, so we need to provide the functionality for bookmark here. And to implement the bookmark we need to install async storage. So here I am using expo, so I am going to use this command to install it. I need to stop the server and then paste the command to install the async storage to our project, and now it has been installed, right? So now we can again start the server. So now we need to use it here. So when clicking on this icon we need to save the bookmark. So we need to create a function called save bookmark, and for this function we need to pass the ID of this particular item. So I will call this item ID and the type of it is string, and this function would be an async function because we are going to use async storage, and to use that async storage we need to create the async function. So here with await I can provide async storage and I can get the item, and let's call the item as bookmark. In this bookmark item we will provide the item. I'm getting the item because it could not be the first item which I'm saving or bookmarking for this app. So let me implement it and then it will be clear to you. So we are getting the bookmark item and then we can get the data from here, and let me call it as token, and let's get the result here as res. Let's parse the data. So by this we will get the result, and let's check if res not equal to null. So that means some data is present in this bookmark item. Then we are going to look for the item in this result, whether it is present there or not. So for that I am using find function, and here I can get a value for each of the item present here, and that value would be string type, and let's check for that value with the item ID which we are getting here. So we are checking for each of the item within this result to find a match for this item ID. If we are getting it, then we don't need to do anything because then it will not save the bookmark because already the bookmark is present. But if nothing is matches, that means the data is null, then we need to save the bookmark. And to do that we can do it by pushing this item ID in this result, and let's provide the async storage item. So right now we are going to set the item, and the item is the bookmark, and here we are going to set it with the res. So here we are adding this ID to this result array, and then we are providing that updated array to this set item. Now after setting it we can alert the message as item saved. So here we are done for one case. If the result not equal to null, so that means some kind of result or some kind of data, previous data is present in this bookmark. If it is not the case, if it is the first item we are setting as bookmark for the app, then it will be the else case. And for that let me create a bookmark array, and in that bookmark let's push the ID, the item ID, similar to how we have done here. And after that it is similar, we need to set the async storage item, and here instead of res it will be bookmark, and we are going to alert the message as item saved. So now save it, and here we need to provide that save bookmark function, and we need to pass the item ID. And with that I want to create another state called bookmark. and by default it will be false. And here within this save bookmark function, first I will set the bookmark as true, and based on that here I am going to check it. If bookmark is true, then it will be heart, otherwise it will be heart outline. So that means if it is bookmark, then it will be filled, otherwise it will be like this. And also let me provide a color here, and it will be similar. If the bookmark is true, then it will be red color, otherwise I will provide this black color. Okay, so now let's click here. So with the click we can see the color have been changed, the icon is changed. The icon right now is heart, not the heart outline, and the color is also changed. The bookmark is set to true, and we can see obviously the item is saved. So this function have triggered, and as we have provided alert here, so async storage have been set, right? Now the bookmark is done, so we have saved the bookmark, but right now if I'm clicking here, then we are not seeing any alert because I haven't provided anything to handle that. But here in this scenario, ideally it should remove the bookmark after clicking on this icon, right? So that is the next step, that is what we need to create here, and that is the remove bookmark, and it will be same as this one. We will have an ID and it will be an async function as well. So I have copied it. Now let's remove this bookmark. So first let's create a constant called bookmark, and here let's get the item from async storage, and this item is bookmark. Then it is similar, we are getting some data and I am calling it as token. Then let's get the result. Now from this result we need to filter out this item, so that's why I have used filter. And for the filter, let's get the item, and the item is the ID, and by this ID we need to check if the item ID is not matching with the ID present in this res array, in this result array, then we will add those. Otherwise if it is matching, then we are filtering out. So this not operator is checking it like this. If it is not matching, then those IDs are being added to this array. Those data will remain as same in this array, and when this ID is matching with this ID, that will be filtered out. So the filter function is doing the removing, and now we need to set the async storage item, and that we can do here. Let's set it async storage set item, and the item will be the bookmark, and here let's provide JSON stringify, and the item will be the bookmark, and let's provide an alert item unsaved. Okay, so this is the bookmark which I have set as the async storage item, and here we need to set the bookmark state as false, because based on this bookmark state we are providing this UI. So this UI will be changed based on this bookmark state, and this bookmark is not this bookmark. This bookmark is the state bookmark, and this constant is just focusing here in this function, and this bookmark is holding the value which is being returned by this filter function, right? So now here we need to call that remove bookmark function also. So it will be a conditional checking, and that checking will also be based on the bookmark state. If the bookmark is true, then we will remove it, right? So that means right now the bookmark is set to true, so the bookmark is done for this particular ID. Now if I click here, then it should remove the bookmark, right? So that's why I have provided remove bookmark, and here let's provide the item ID. Now save it. Now after saving, let's click here. So after clicking here, we can see the item unsaved. So that means we have set the async storage item properly with this updated filtered bookmark, right? So these functions are working. Now I want to consider another scenario in which I have clicked on the bookmark and the item is saved. I am not removing it. I have saved it because I want to check it out later. I went back to other screens and then again I am just opening that particular item, but this time I am not seeing that it is already bookmarked. But it was bookmarked before. We have seen that, but it is not displaying here. So we need to check that. We need to handle that as well. And for that, here I am going to create another function that will be render bookmark, and it will also be similar like this. So it will be an async function and it will take the item ID. Now it will also be same as this one, but this time we will not create any constant. So let me first close this. So from the async storage we are getting the item, and let's check if res not equal to null. So that means something is present in this result. If the async storage have some value, then we are doing this, and within this if statement we will create this data variable, and here let's find out the item and it will be similar as this. So as we have found out the value, so it will be similar to this. So I can just copy and paste it out over here. So for we are finding out, and for the find function we are getting the value of each item from this res array, and we are checking that value with the item ID which we are getting here. And we need to check that if the data is equal to null, then that means there is no bookmark. That time set bookmark will be false. Otherwise, if the data has some value, so that means it matches, then the set bookmark state will be true, and we need to return this. So now we need to call this render bookmark function, and by calling this we are setting the bookmark state as true or false. And by this bookmark state we are showing the icon properly, and with that also we are dynamically providing the function, right? So that's why we need to call this function, and we need to call it in another use effect hook. And here we will check for if is loading is changing, then we will run this use effect, and here we will check if is loading is not set to true, then we will call this render bookmark. So why is loading? Because with this is loading we are waiting for the item to be fetched. So when we get the item, that time we are setting it to false. Otherwise it is by default set to true. So that is what we are checking. If it is set to false, then only we will call this render bookmark function, because that time we will have the item, right? So now save it, and with the save we can see that it has been changed. So now if I check for other items also, I can see that this one I haven't bookmarked, so it is not showing that. But for this one I have just bookmarked it. Now it is showing as bookmarked, right? And it is the same for the first item also. So this render bookmark function is working perfectly well, as it should, and I can remove it, right? And now again if I go, then it is showing it is not bookmarked yet. I can click here and it will be bookmarked, right? So I am handling all the possible scenario here. Now with the bookmark saved, I need to display those bookmark items in this bookmark screen. So let's implement that. And here for this screen it is pretty straightforward. Here we have already set the bookmark, right? And we are handling the functionalities of it. So our async storage item is set. We need to just access the async storage item and display that here. So we need to fetch the bookmark. So let's create that function. So it will be fetch bookmark, and it will be an async function. So we need to await for the async storage. Here we need to just get the item, so it will be the bookmark. Then here we can get the data as token, and let's create that result constant, and then let's create a variable called items, and it will be an empty array, and the type of it will be item type. So it will be an array of this item type, and let's check if result is present. Then let me first output it in a console log bookmark result like this. And now let's call this in a use effect hook. Now save it. Now with the save, here we can see we have this output in the console log, and within the array we have 2 items present. So these are the item ID. So we need to get the item details for these IDs only from the JSON data, right? And that is the item list. So we need to get the item list and paste it here. And now after this, I need to check for each item within this res array. For this array, we are going to run this function, and we are going to get the element. So that means we will first get this element. For that we will run the function whatever we will do here, and then after that it will be for this, and so on. So we will get the element, and that element is this ID. So it is the type of string, and let's provide that in a parenthesis. Now after that, let's create a variable called data, and here we need to find the item from the item list. So item list is the main array, and from that we are going to find it here. So here we will get the value, and it will be as string type. Okay, it will not be string type because we are getting the item from the item list. So it will be item type. So it is the val.id equal to the element, which is this one, and this element means this ID, this one ID. Okay, and now we need to add this data. If this data is matching, so then we need to add this data to this empty array. So let me call it as items. So items dot push, and provide the data here, and here we can provide this to get rid of the error. Now we need to create some state, and those states will be first the bookmark item, and it is the array of item type, and then is loading, which is set to true by default. We are pushing the data to this item, but we cannot access this item array outside of this function. So that's why I have created this bookmark item state. So I need to set that. So here let's set the bookmark item, and it will be set by this items array. After that, let's provide set is loading as false. So here it is checking for the result. If the result is true, then it is doing that. We need to check for the else case also. If no result is present in the bookmark, so no bookmark is set, that time we need to set bookmark item as empty array, and set loading will be set to false, because by default I am setting it to true, and based on the is loading I am going to display here some data. So first provide that if it is loading, then we will display a loader, and that will be activity indicator. Otherwise we will display a flat list, and let's get rid of this text. So otherwise we will display a flat list, and that flat list will be similar to this. So I can copy it from here and paste it here, and instead of item list it will be bookmark item. And let's update the import, and here we need to import the item. Okay, so I think I need to export it from here so that I can access this element here. So now I can import it. So it has been imported. Now let me just update the import from relative to absolute path. Now save it, and now it has been closed. Let's start the server again. Okay, so now let's go to bookmark, and here we can see we have this two data which I have bookmarked, right? So this fetch bookmark function is working perfectly well. Let's provide margin 20. Now I want to do another thing. Here if I click here, then it is being removed from here, but if I go back, then here I can see that it is still present, right? And if I go there and come here, then it is still present, it is not updating this, and that's why I need to handle. If it is being removed, then it should be updated here, and for that here I will create a constant called isFocused, and it will be this use isFocused hook from the React navigation. So by this I can call this fetch bookmark function. So now save it, and after saving I can say that it is updated immediately. Let me add few more items to the bookmark. Okay, so these are the items I have added. So here we can see these. Now let me go to here and let's unsave it. So here I can see the update, and that is because whenever this particular screen is being focused, that is we are getting from this use isFocused, and whenever it is changing, that time I'm calling this function. So right now if I go here and let's remove this from this home screen and let's go to this bookmark, then I'm presented with the updated one, and that is the same case from this also. I have unsaved it, and now here it is updated, right? So this is it. So that's how this bookmark functionality is being done. And here I have used a dummy data, which is this item JSON, but in a real life scenario it will be data from the API, and when it is from the API, that time all the functionality will be the same. Only thing will be different is this one, the manipulation of the data from the item list. This item list is the item JSON. Instead of this item list, you will have the API call. That API should have something to query by the ID, and that API call you should be done here. And similar case here also. When we are getting the item, that time I am getting it from the item list. Instead of the item list, it will be API call. Otherwise this save bookmark function, this remove bookmark function, all these things are same. These things will not be anything different. Whenever we have used the item list, which is this item JSON, that time you need to provide the other things whichever is suitable for your project. So I think that is clear to you. So this is the tutorial, guys. I hope you have learned something new from this tutorial. If you do so, then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this, and let me know by commenting down below. If you have any kind of suggestion for me, then also let me know. And don't forget to share this tutorial with your friends and colleagues, and I will see you guys in my next tutorial. In the meantime, have a great day. Goodbye.